I've never gone with the crowd. We used to call them lemmings, remember? Or sheeple. They're still lemmings and they're still sheeple. President's base is not fracturing. Just because self-appointed so-called influencers say it is, and most of these people, if you really look at their backgrounds, are abject failures in so many things, in so many ways. We have a battle going on in this country for the country. The enemy within is on the move, and these people are a distraction. They're narcissistic, and they're taking up the space. So don't let them do that. Now let's start. I talked about L.A. and NYC. Let's look at L.A. The demonization of our ICE agents, federal law enforcement, they're the front line in the deportation effort. And we're getting resistance from a new confederacy that claims sanctuary status, meaning sanctuary from federal immigration law. Federal immigration law that's on the books, passed by past Congress and signed by past presidents. This would be the first time in American history that you can't deport illegal aliens. And yet that's the effort underway, as well as with their corrupt federal judges who still keep issuing what are, in effect, universal, nationwide orders dressed up as class action suits. Now, the Democrats have called in their militia. They use certain phrases, resistance, that they're going to stand up to federal law enforcement, to ICE, which is simply executing federal immigration law passed by both parties in our past history. Here's a montage. I want you to listen to this by Western Lensman on X. Cut one, go.
Every single ICE agent who's engaged in this aggressive overreach, no matter what it takes, no matter how long it takes, will of course be identified. This is not the 1930s.
Secret police who are masked, who are intimidating, who are scaring people. These Gestapo-like tactics.
This is Gestapo-like behavior.
Donald Trump's modern-day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the streets.
When you compare the old films of the Gestapo grabbing people off the streets of Poland, it does look like a Gestapo operation.
You posted on social media that, quote, ICE is acting like a terrorist force.
ICE agents, they are coming and kidnapping and disappearing people on the streets of the United States.
But this terror campaign of having masked people rolling up in vans. But we also have to talk about the agents themselves that are carrying this out. If you have any decency, quit now. Because just doing what you were told has been the justification for some of the worst horrors and crimes against humanity.
Masked agents of the state in unmarked vehicles are terrorizing communities. They are disappearing people.
One has to assume they're hiding something, or they're hiding misbehavior, because otherwise, why would they be wearing masks and denying their identities?
If everything is legitimate and proper, why are you wearing masks to hide your face?
Not look like America. We are going to require them to show their faces. If you're not doing anything wrong, you shouldn't have anything to hide.
Of course, they're wearing masks because they're being threatened and their families are being threatened. Now, this is the party of masks that insisted that we all wear masks just a few years ago, and now the wearing of a mask in order to protect law enforcement, they insist that the masks be removed. Because this is a party that is hell-bent on destroying our society and replacing it with illegal aliens. They don't care if they're criminals. They don't care who they are and what they are. So what? A few crimes here and there? They don't care that they talk about disappearing. Hundreds of thousands of women are disappeared into pornography and sold into sex slavery. They don't care that 325,000 unaccompanied minors are disappeared. That all happened on their watch. The open borders was a plan from day one to increase congressional seats, because when they gerrymander these seats, they count people, not citizens. Number two, they're going to fight like hell for birthright citizenship to maintain it. I don't think we have enough courageous justices to put an end to this. That's my opinion. I don't want it to be the case. I don't. But I fear it will be, knowing the personalities there. If I'm wrong, great. Doesn't matter if I'm wrong. That's great. But I'm making the point This is putting pressure on certain Supreme Court justices. Trust me on this. But they figure through gerrymandering with illegal immigrants, millions and millions of them, they'll take the House. They figure that birthright citizenship, that'll kick in with millions and millions of illegals having children who become citizens. Then they figure from there chain migration. They have it all figured out, in which an illegal alien becoming, in effect, having their children here who become citizens, and those citizens then are able to bring in some tight cases up to over 20 relatives into the country, then it's over. That's why they're fighting like hell. Ground zero is Los Angeles, California right now. That's what it is. Ground zero. If they win this battle with ICE, the battle's over. Okay? That's why I detest these people who are distracting us right now. If they win that battle, the battle's over. Then we go to the other coast, New York City. They're about to install, not with a majority vote, but with a plurality of vote, because they changed the voting system as they did in California, as they did in Alaska to help Murkowski, where they want people elected who can't get a majority but can get a plurality in a crowded field. That's what's going on in New York right now. They want a Marxist Islamist installed as the mayor to destroy the greatest financial capital on the face of the earth because they hate capitalism. That's their plan. That's the plan of CARE. That's the plan of these organizations for the last 30 or 40 years. That's why their money flows so generously into our country. That's why they've destroyed our colleges and universities, particularly those in these metropolitan areas considered Ivy League schools or top quality schools at one point, with the fusion of the Marxists, professors, and the Islamists, which I've been talking about now for several years and written about. That's the second battle. These are battles that we're facing right now while we're being distracted by the grifters, by the phony influencers, while they're stabbing our president in the back. These are the real battles that are taking place right now. We're losing the battle in New York right now as I speak. Why? I tell you the truth. New York, I'm telling you the truth. You got Cuomo, who's got incredible amounts of horrific baggage. You got the sitting mayor, who's an incompetent. And you got Sliwa, who's a Republican. If all three stay in the race, the Marxist Islamist is going to win. He won't get a majority, but he'll get a plurality. And that's how these people win. They win pluralities. That's how Lenin won. He won a plurality. Excuse me. He didn't win a plurality. He had a... In fact, that's not even true. He had a minority backing him, about 30% of the population. This guy has about 40, 45%. That's it. These are the battles that are going on right now on each coast. It's not by accident that they're fought in our number one and number two city. It's not by accident that they're fought in one-party states, in one-party cities. It's not by accident that you hear Democrats, that short montage of a minute and a half. Those are not just statements trashing ICE. Those are statements that are calling the Democrat Party militia to arms. That's exactly what it is. They did it in 2020 when they went after the cops, local cops, and they're doing it now when they're going after federal law enforcement. The rule of law must be destroyed. The civil society and the culture must be destroyed. These people you heard, Hakeem Jeffries, Dan Goldman, Tim Waltz, Stephen Lynch, Pramalya Jayapal, Maxwell Frost, Omar, Nadler, Swalwell. They're about single-party control. Single-party control ends everything. One party. And they're used to a one-party state. Jeffries is from New York. Goldman from New York. Waltz from Minnesota. Stephen Lynch, Massachusetts. Pramila Jayapal, Washington State. Who the hell knows who Maxwell Frost is? Omar, Minnesota. Nadler, New York. Swalwell, California. These are hardly purple states, even in the case of Minnesota. Of course, the media want us to focus on other things. The fact that these so-called influencers who influence nobody are drawing attention to themselves as they demand through the left-wing media and their entrails is appalling to me. We have real live battles going on right now. This is not a joke. Even under President Trump, these issues going on, he needs our support. His people need our support. ICE needs our support. We need a rally to defeat this Marxist Islamist bastard in New York who supports a global intifada. Global intifada, America, that's worldwide terrorism. Did we forget 9/11? Have we already forgotten it?